you, everybody, for coming to the College Football Betting with Aaron Torres YouTube channel. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. It helps our channel grow. It helps our audience grow. I appreciate it more than you know, as we're talking college football on this channel year-round. Appreciate your support. Click that subscribe button. And how about this? We just talked about the Georgia Bulldogs. They're facing Florida. But Georgia ain't in first place in the SEC right now. Nor is Texas, nor is Bama, nor is Tennessee. It is your Texas A&M Aggies, the only undefeated team in SEC play. They have the straight path to the first ever SEC championship game in school history. The Aggies taking on South Carolina. This is going to be a tough one. It is in Columbia. It is at night. A&M a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under set at 44.5. Terms of this game, listen, you don't need me to tell you. This A&M story, I'll just be blunt. It's awesome. And I know, and listen, by the way, if you listen to this show, if you listen to the Aaron Torres pod, I have been guilty of hyping up previous A&M teams, okay? I think I was the last guy on Jimbo Fisher Island. He'll figure it out. But the bottom line is what Mike Elko has done is absolutely unbelievable at Texas A&M. It's not just that they're sitting here at 7-1. It's not that just that they're alone in first place in the SEC standings. It's that he has completely flipped who they are and what they're about. By the way, speaking of Jimbo Fisher, I don't care what Mike Elko said. He did say he was talking about Jimbo Fisher at the podium on Saturday, but that's neither here nor there. But the bottom line is what he said was 100% accurate. They're a serious ball club. They're about football. They're about focus. They're about discipline. And you can just see him exerting his will on this team. And then, oh, by the way, in turn, his team exerting their will on the opponent. For all the talk about the Marcel Reed switch at the quarterback position, and it was an incredible coaching move. I give him credit in that moment to do it. Connor Wigman, you could tell, was not happy with it, although Wigman has since said and done all the right things. But really, that game wasn't just about Marcel Reed. That game was just about a physical butt kicking. After the game, Mike Elko said to his team in the locker room, we saw some video from one of the Texas A&M accounts, that was about physically exerting their will on the opponent, and that's exactly what they did. 242 yards rushing, 5 yards per carry against a good and improving LSU defense. And then, oh, by the way, the Texas A&M defensive front got to Garrett Nussmeier time and time again, forced 3 second-half turnovers. And, oh, by the way, maybe the craziest stat from week 9 in college football, 24 yards rushing on 23 carries for LSU. So physical domination, complete domination. And listen, we also do have to give a little bit of credit to Marcel Reed. It's obviously a different type of offense with him in the lineup, with him at quarterback. I think the craziest stat out of Saturday, although I just said the rushing stat for LSU was, well, this one's pretty crazy too. Do you know that Marcel Reed, because I think you get caught up in the moment, right? And you're not paying attention to how things are happening. Marcel Reed only threw 2 passes the other night against LSU, 70 yards passing on 2 completions. He actually had more rushing touchdowns, 3, than total passes, 2. But Texas A&M gets the win. And again, it's about the physicality, the defense, the run game. And that is certainly what they're going to bring to South Carolina. To South Carolina's credit, though, listen, they're just as tough, just as physical. Mike Elko said this week, he said, this is our biggest challenge yet. And I don't think it was hyperbole. I don't think it was a coach kind of stumping or trying to convince you of something or convince his team of something. South Carolina team's really good. We know about the defense, specifically the defensive front. By the way, if you don't know about the defense, just ask Kayla DeBoer, just ask Brent Venables, the last 2 teams to face them. Alabama could not block South Carolina. It was a train wreck. Alabama was lucky to survive. Oh, by the way, Oklahoma, I keep saying the craziest stats, but I've never seen anything like this either. That start of the Oklahoma game, South Carolina was up 21-0 4 minutes into the game. Who has ever seen anything like that? And by the way, especially in a league game, SEC, but 21-0, score on the opening drive, have a turnover that's returned for a touchdown, have another turnover returned for a touchdown. One's a pick six, one's a fumble. Boom, it's 21-0 before you even blink. And so I just bring it up because this defense is elite. This defensive front is elite. 28 sacks for South Carolina is 3rd in all of college football. A top 15 defense overall. This South Carolina defense will get after you, even if, honestly, the offense is a little bit what like Texas A&M is with Marcel Reed. running quarterback, dual threat. Don't put too much on Lenora Sellers' arm. Instead, he runs the ball a lot. Rocket Sanders runs the ball a lot. And as we get to my best bet for this game, it's another one that feels obvious. Now, in terms of the who's going to win, I actually kind of like South Carolina, but I think from the betting perspective, the better bet is just flatly the under 44.5. And I know it's not a lot of points, or not a lot. Yeah, it's not a lot of points. I know it's very low scoring, but look at how these two teams play. Because when you think about these two teams, just think about what I said. By the way, we're assuming Marcel Reed is playing. Elko has not committed to it, at least nothing that I have seen as of Wednesday. Maybe something will come out Thursday. I don't know. Maybe he's playing coy, whatever. But I have to assume Marcel Reed is going to be the quarterback. But you have two running quarterbacks. You have two very good defenses. But here's the thing. They both force a lot of turnovers, but specifically A&M does not turn the ball over. 6 total turnovers all season long. That's like top 20 in the country. So the way that South Carolina beats you, I don't know that they're going to have a ton of success against Texas A&M. But I also just feel like, to me, this is going to be a possession game. In other words, there's not going to be a lot of possessions. There's not going to be a lot. And especially remember, too, this is an era where the clock runs on first downs until under 2 minutes. And so to me, that matters because you have two teams that want to run the ball. They don't want to pass the ball. They don't turn the ball over. I just expect a lot of long drives, a lot of field goal attempts. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points. Went and looked it up to see if kind of, the stats confirmed what I see and what I think in my head. Stats back it up. You know that in the 16-team SEC, Texas A&M, 13th in pass attempts, and I think that number is a little bit deceptive because most of those pass attempts come with Connor Wigman. 13th in pass attempts, South Carolina 16th in pass attempts. So both teams in the bottom quarter of the league in terms of pass attempts, they're number 2 and number 3 in rush attempts. And so this is going to be low scoring. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tough. If I had to make a pick, I kind of like South Carolina at home. That place is going to be crazy Saturday night. But instead, I think I'll just take the under. If you made me, twist my arm, I would take South Carolina to win. But the under, to me, is the best bet in this game.